The House Judiciary Committee hearing was in its third hour Tuesday morning when the confrontation nobody expected began to unfold. Adam Schiff had been questioning a witness about election integrity, his usual sanctimonious tone on full display. Jasmine Crockett had been sitting quietly, taking notes, until Schiff made a comment that would trigger one of the most explosive exchanges in congressional history. Schiff said, "We must protect our democracy from those who would spread disinformation and undermine our institutions with baseless claims." That's when Jasmine Crockett leaned into her microphone. She said, "Mr. Chairman, I'd like to respond to Mr. Schiff's comments about disinformation, since he's quite the expert on that subject." The room stirred. Schiff looked annoyed but waved for her to continue, clearly not expecting what was coming. Jasmine pulled out a thick folder. She said, "Mr. Schiff speaks about disinformation. Let's talk about the disinformation he spread for 3 years about having more than circumstantial evidence of Russian collusion. Evidence that never materialized." Schiff's face tightened. He said, "That's not relevant to today's hearing, isn't it?" Jasmine interrupted. "You're lecturing us about truth while sitting on a throne of lies. I think that's entirely relevant." Committee members shifted uncomfortably. This wasn't the usual partisan sparring. Jasmine continued, opening her folder. "Mr. Schiff went on television 419 times claiming he had seen evidence of criminal conspiracy. The Mueller report found no such evidence. The Durham report revealed the investigation itself was based on lies. Yet here he sits, preaching about integrity." Schiff tried to interrupt. He said, "The gentlewoman is out of order." "I'm just getting started," Jasmine shot back. "Let's talk about the FISA warrants you defended. The ones based on the Steele dossier you knew was fraudulent. 17 significant errors and omissions, according to the Inspector General. You knew, and you lied." She pulled out documents, spreading them on the desk. "Here are your statements defending those warrants. Here's the IG report proving they were fraudulent. Here's testimony showing you were briefed on the problems, but continued lying to the American people." Schiff's face was reddening. He said, "This is a political attack." "It's a fact attack," Jasmine corrected. "And I have more facts. Should we discuss the phone records you subpoenaed, including journalists and your Republican colleagues? The ones you obtained in secret and leaked selectively." The C-SPAN cameras caught Schiff gripping the desk, his knuckles white. Jasmine wasn't done. She said, "You want to talk about undermining institutions? You turned the Intelligence Committee into your personal opposition research firm. You held secret hearings, leaked misleading testimony, and refused to release transcripts that contradicted your narrative. Other Democrats tried to intervene." Representative Nadler said, "This is inappropriate." Jasmine turned on him. She said, "What's inappropriate is letting a proven liar lecture others about truth. What's inappropriate is Adam Schiff having any credibility left after what he's done." She pulled out more papers. "Let's talk about the whistleblower, Mr. Schiff. The one you claimed you had no contact with. Should I read the timeline showing your staff met with him before the complaint was filed? Should I discuss how you helped orchestrate the entire thing while pretending to be a neutral arbiter?" Schiff was visibly struggling now, his breathing becoming labored. This moment exposes what happens when career politicians face their own records. When years of deception get laid bare with receipts. When someone finally has the courage to compile the evidence and present it publicly. This is accountability arriving without warning. Jasmine continued relentlessly. "You manufactured a crisis, Mr. Schiff. You knew the Russia narrative was false, but pushed it anyway. You knew the impeachment was based on lies, but pursued it anyway. You put the country through hell for your political ambitions." Schiff tried to speak, but only managed, I stand by my actions." "Your actions?" Jasmine laughed bitterly. "Let's review your actions. Lying to the American people daily. Abusing your committee position for partisan gain. Violating civil liberties with illegal surveillance. These are your actions, and they're documented." She held up a bound report. "I've compiled everything, Mr. Schiff. Every lie, every abuse of power, every violation of public trust. It's 200 pages long. Would you like me to read it into the record? Schiff's face had gone from red to pale. His hands were shaking visibly. Republican members were leaning forward, Democrats looking horrified. Nobody had expected this level of prepared devastation. Jasmine pressed on. You talk about protecting democracy while you undermined it. You claim to defend truth while you spread lies. You pose as a guardian of justice while you perverted it for politics. She pulled out a final set of documents. Here's something interesting, Mr. Schiff. Financial disclosures you failed to file properly. Meetings with foreign nationals you didn't report. Connections to firms that benefited from your committee decisions. Should we explore these? Schiff suddenly gripped his chest. His breathing became erratic. Committee members started shouting, "Medical! We need medical!" But Jasmine kept going as staff rushed to Schiff. This is what happens when lies catch up with you. When the truth you've been running from finally corners you. When someone bothers to compile your crimes and read them back to you. Schiff slumped forward in his chair, clearly in severe distress. Medical personnel rushed in as the hearing descended into chaos. As they attended to him, Jasmine addressed the room. Adam Schiff spent years destroying lives with lies. He ruined careers, divided the country, and abused his power without consequence. Today, consequences arrived. Democratic members were screaming for her to stop. Republicans sat in stunned silence. Jasmine gathered her papers calmly. I have copies of everything for the record. Every lie, every abuse, every crime. The American people deserve to know who Adam Schiff really is. And now they will. As paramedics prepared to transport Schiff, Jasmine delivered her final words. You can't run from the truth forever, Mr. Schiff. Eventually, it finds you. Today, it found you. And your body couldn't handle what your conscience ignored for years. The hearing was immediately recessed. Schiff was rushed to the hospital, reportedly suffering from a severe panic attack that mimicked cardiac symptoms. Within minutes, #CrockettDestroysSchiff was trending worldwide. The footage was everywhere, Jasmine's methodical destruction and Schiff's physical collapse. Conservative media hailed it as long overdue accountability. Even some mainstream outlets couldn't ignore the documented evidence Jasmine had presented. Jasmine released her full report online. It was devastating, a comprehensive timeline of Schiff's lies and abuses, all documented with receipts. Legal experts said it could trigger multiple investigations. She posted simply, Adam Schiff collapsed when confronted with his own actions. Imagine how his victims felt. The truth doesn't care about your committee position. It doesn't care about your media allies. It just is. And today, it was too much for him to bear. Schiff was hospitalized for 3 days. When he returned to Congress, he was a diminished figure. He avoided committees where Jasmine served and declined most media appearances. The incident triggered broader investigations into Schiff's conduct. His subpoena abuse, his FISA warrant knowledge, his financial irregularities, all became subjects of scrutiny. At a press conference, Jasmine was asked if she felt bad about Schiff's collapse. She responded, I feel bad for everyone Adam Schiff hurt with his lies. I feel bad for the country he divided with his conspiracies. As for him, he collapsed under the weight of his own deception. That's not my fault. That's justice. The revolution wasn't just in the confrontation. It was in the preparation, someone taking time to document every lie. It was in the presentation, calm, methodical, undeniable. It was in proving that eventually, truth has its day. And when that day comes, those who built careers on lies might just collapse. Literally. Because bodies sometimes know what consciences ignore. The truth hurts. And some truths hurt enough to put you in the hospital.